You ever make a 5-year plan at a party on Saturday and have it changed by Sunday night?
This is the city, Los Angeles, California, a place that never really settles into itself. It shifts, it sheds skin. It replaces yesterday with tomorrow before you've finished your coffee. You can spend years building something here, crews, systems, trust. And then on a Sunday night, the phone rings and reminds you that nothing in this town belongs to you. One of my supervisors called me. Good man, 4 kids, wife, solid in the field. He didn't hedge, didn't apologize, just told me he'd been given an offer. Bigger money, new direction, remodeling. Said he wanted to learn the whole game before he stepped out on his own. I could hear it in his voice. It wasn't rebellion. It wasn't ego. It was movement. That's Los Angeles. There are companies in this town that treat departure like betrayal. You leave, and suddenly the story becomes that you were fired. Doors close. Names get whispered. Blacklists get longer. 15 years goes by and the city is full of men who once wore the same logo and don't anymore. But construction, real construction, doesn't work like ideology. It works like weather. Crews form, crews dissolve. Everybody's got a list of numbers in their phone. Everybody's chasing the next 2 weeks of work, the next pour, the next check that feeds their family. I came up in that world. If you had steady work for a couple of weeks, you were ahead of the game. So there I was, sitting down to think about the next 5 years. Growth, books, systems, all of it. And the city tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Not so fast." You don't get 5-year plans without 5-minute problems. This is 5 years. We open the file every Sunday at high noon. Business, books, pressure, growth, the parts nobody markets. If that kind of climb interests you, subscribe, stick around. This isn't a short story.
Well, that's not the information I wanted. Oh man, I can't fall asleep. I gotta go to the office tomorrow and get the turnovers back to me a bit more because my executive supervisor's gonna go and work for someone else so he can learn more about different types of trades and things that we don't do because he wants to get his contractor's license and have a business. And you know, deep down inside, I know he's gonna do really, really well, so it's not the right timing in the 5-year Social Security kick it to the curb plan. But I'll go there and I'll just tell him. I'll tell him everything I know and what I learned in the vast time I've been freaking driving nails and building cabinets and all kinds of other things, and now this foundations and what we do. So, well, let's turn the page and see what tomorrow brings. Okay, bye. Okay, mister, let's go to the office. Okay, mister, you want to get into this business? Well, I'm going to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you like others tell you. I'm going to tell you so you can maybe avoid some of the mistakes I made, and that I can call you in a couple years and you're on the top of the mountain.
I didn't have any cash.
Here we go, I'm going to tell you.
I was sleeping on my kid's couch. I got a divorce. And I was married for 23 years to my wife, and then we just grew apart. However it got there, me being gone all the time. That's why when you came, I was like, being gone all the time ruins your freaking relationship. Your business, when your business overpowers your personal life, that's when you're fucked, because it's like you're backpedaling. You come home, you got all these beautiful kids, you know, like when your father dies and your kids grow up and they're gone. I remember taking my kid to college. I dropped him off. I cried all the fucking way back. So like when your business overcomes your personal life, that's the warning signs. Because you look at your son, he's 2 years old, you look at him again, you blink, he's 15 years old, you didn't talk to him enough, and now he's walking down the wrong paths in life, and you can't do enough to get it to come back, because every day he goes to school, he learns from somebody else. He doesn't learn from you. So if you let that get out of control, that's the biggest thing. So when I'm sleeping on my kid's couch in 2017, because I was gone and I let my marriage get out of control. Then I let my life get out of control. And then I ended up coming out here because of all kinds of things that happened that went wrong. But I met this girl, Svetlana, and we decided we were going to do this business together. We were going to freaking do it. And because things went so bad so quick, I had to decide that I had to make things go better so quick. So I said, I can't be a shoe salesman. Like, if I want to go where I want to go in life, I can't like work at McDonald's or go work for $25 an hour. I used to have this thing like $25 an hour, like buying chicken wings. You can get them all over town. Yeah. So I friggin' just said, I'm going to make it go right. I'm going to do it. And we didn't have any money. So I basically learned something early on. When you start, you got to like act like if you don't got cash, you have to depend on the job to fuel your cash. So you got to go like, I'm only taking ground ups that are already approved. Yeah. Because I don't have any cash. I don't have time for it to go in the box, the 6-month box of development. So I'm only going to take those things on. And then you have to have establishment. So if you have no fuel, no energy, you have to depend upon the job, and then you have to use the job to fuel you that. Because if you're trying to go somewhere so quick, you can't, unless you got your shit together, which you do, and you said, I can go out and get a mortgage. But now I want to get a loan on a mortgage, but now you're chancing your house if it goes wrong. Yeah. So you're bringing your personal life back in, and your wife's sitting there at the table going, oh, I don't want to risk our house. I don't want to risk our kids. And your wife is fueling you too, because she says, I don't want them to go to public school. I want them to go to the private school. I want them to go here and that. So you in your game, you got to shorten that shit. And energy is just money. Money is energy. So you have to get the person that you're working for interested enough that they're going to pay for everything for you. And you have to tell them, I'm not the Bank of Gibraltar, you're paying my shit. So once you do that and you get that going, and that's fueling your life, then you got to stay on the lines. You got to go out there every day, and you got to make sure those pirates don't screw you over. But you got to know they are. And you got to make sure, you got to watch the money line back and forth. Money line this, money line this. As far as promotion goes and all of that, early on, blow off all that search engine optimization, blow off all of that like Facebook pages and shit like that. Unless you're developing them right now, just get into delivering word of mouth. And if you're delivering word of mouth, somebody's going to drive by and see that place going up, and they're going to ask you. And you got a perfect freaking
demeanor about yourself, because I've been able to put you on sales and look at you, killed it.
Yeah.
And I've been able to put you on production and you rip through that too.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have that personal thing, but don't chance your personal life. If you got credit lines and startup capital, but I learned that gig too, man. People are calling you up, they say, I'll give you $85,000 in one day.
Yeah.
But you got to pay me $6,000 a week for the first 90 days, and then we'll refinance. And then I get out my little BART math calculator on my phone, and I realize I've already paid him off before he's willing to refinance me for the freaking rest of the money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pay $125,000 on $85,000.
Yep.
So, you know, in the time you're getting a contractor's license, you got to spark, you got to get that damn credit that you got to be like 720, 750. But then you got to get your buddy Chad to tell you how to steer it all off. Like, you know, there's a difference between like a limited liability company and a corp. You're getting out you have certain protections with the limited liability company, but you're giving them all up in the taxes, because now you got to pay extra taxes for all this shit.
Yeah.
So you got to study that game.
Yeah.
But the startup is never, if you have cash, the trouble with cash is you think you can spend it.
Yeah.
That's the problem with cash. And every week you're thinking, fuck, well, I can use another 10 grand for this. I can chance this. I can do that. And pretty soon now you have no money left and you got nowhere.
Yeah.
So the thing is you always treat that like, I fucked up, I got an emergency, I gotta fix it because I didn't bid it right. And in the beginning, unless you know bidding, you're going to the college of the empty wallet. It's really simple. You're gonna, well, I've never done a retaining wall. Now you do a retaining wall. You told the customer $158,000. It ended up being $157,500. You made no money. It's empty wallet, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta just basically do it that way. You gotta, if you have that there, you have to treat it like get out of town money. Like if everything goes wrong, you know, I've got that very fast car in the parking lot at the house, you know, and I can get in that thing and go and get out of town before people. But I wouldn't treat money as anything other than that. That's the biggest thing I've learned is you have to have the customer give you the money ahead. And in the state of California, it's only on production. So you get $1,000 down, you get a commencement. You don't do a job without a commencement payment, no matter what they tell you. And then also develop your contracts so that they say what you do and they say what you don't do, and they protect you. And you always are altering that protection that you have in the end to include. You're not like starting off with one page of protection, and after you're in the business for 1,000 years, you know, they have to decipher through 250 pages of contract. Like it covers you if you don't show up. It covers you if you don't get out of the truck. It even covers you if you screw up the job. Forget all that.
Yeah.
But just go along with that line, and you'll be fine. You see, you just don't spend your wife's money, your future money. Don't chance that at all. Go out there, deliver the thing, and then don't get caught up in all this, like, I have to pay for all this stuff in order to be good. Because you saw us here. We pay in all this money every month for promotion, only to find out that technology is gone.
Yeah.
We're waiting for people to call us.
Yeah.
Don't do that. And then just take on what you can control. Like, because what happened with me, and it's happened 15, 20 times in my life, I go from one job to 5 jobs to 10 jobs, and then I'm trying to manage them all, then one crashes and it takes the whole friggin' thing down, right? So that's the advice I would give you. I would just don't borrow money to fund something. And if you do, lock it away from yourself with about 3 approvals before you, with the most trusted people you know. Like you say, I got $90,000, so I got to get past my wife before I spend anything over $1,000. Then I got to get past my dad if I want to mortgage the house. It's just kind of like we do here. Like you say, well, we're going to hire on a supervisor, right? So you say, well, he's got to get past Brandon. Brandon's going to sit him down, blow holes in it. He's going to say, yeah, guy looks like he's, when he tells you how much he needs an hour, there's a gleam in his eye because he's lying. He thinks he can get it from you because he walked in and he sees the nice flags and the nice stuff. Then he's got to get past Manny. You know, after all this public relations and learning to hire people, I got on a place where we had to make furniture so fast. I had 90 people working for me on a factory floor, and we had to make, and I had to run all these guys. So somebody would come in and want a job, and they'd get past the front office, and they would say, yeah, like, this guy's great. He's got this great thing. He's got this great resume. The girl would walk out, great resume, great this, great that. And I'd look at the guy, and I'd look at his hands, and there's no calluses on it, right? And I would look at his shoes, and there's no work boots. And I'd look at his face, and it would be like, so finally, after trying to get all those indicators, I just said, here's a photo. Build me this desk. Go over there on this factory floor right now. Start building this desk. And I'm going to sit in the office, and if I come out by the end of the day and stop you, that's when we know it's not a fit. And that's how I did it. So that's what I want to tell you. That's the secret of how I got this small. And how I got to get the rest of this thing to go in 5 years. But that's what I've learned, you know. And, but you got big power, mister. You got a lot of, like, quality points. And I think what's going to happen with you, if we just look in the crystal ball and we say 2 years from now, you're going to be telling me I've got like 15 jobs. and I'm going to say, well, there you go. Take on, you know, the ones that you can do and get them done. The moment, and you've learned here and you've seen it, how fast somebody can crash you down the moment you don't deliver. The other thing I learned about is women in kitchens and bathrooms, men in garages. That's where they go when the wife is yak, 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 they're in the garage. When the guy's yak, 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 the wife's in the kitchen. Never take a person's kitchen apart unless you can put it back in 2 days. Don't show up with the cabinets like with the doors off. No, you gotta blow in there because she'll go out and cook at Chipotle and other places and pizza, and 3 days go by and then she's wanting to kill you.
Yep.
You know, when you yards for the guys in the backyards, if you're doing all of that stuff, you're building a house. Oh, and the one other last bit of advice: never, whoever you work for, you're doing it yourself. Always realize, like a car dealership, like when you go out and buy a truck, you get in it, you walk it around, and you sit in that thing and you drive it and you go, wait a minute, I don't like where the radio is. I don't like where the seats don't go back. Forget the Dodge. I go over to Chevy. I get in the Silverado. Seems a little rinky-dink. I go over there. I get in the F-250. I go, this is it. This is laid out. Look at the windows go in and out and all that. But how does somebody do that with a house that's not built yet? So if you're going to take on anything with a client over like $5,000 to $10,000, they have to walk through a visual, okay? And not just a visual on this. They have to and the explosive thing about the internet right now is you can say, "Vroom, here it is. Vroom, here it is." And then you get a sign off on it with some kind of thing, like, because we used to be like, I don't like the doors, they're a little too pink. I don't like the grain, they're a little too this. Ma'am, this is what you ordered. I showed you everything. Yeah. I bring it over here, and now you're saying you don't like the granite countertop because you don't think it's the right color, and it wasn't the same one that you saw down at the store. Yeah. And
So now you think, well, I'm going to have like all this stuff, and I'm going to have all this layout, and I'm going to have them sign off everything and all that. But no, because the visual is what they needed to begin with. That's what they needed. And what happens when you do that and you have customers flap, you start going, I'm not working for old people anymore. I'm not working for the Chinese anymore. I'm not working for the people that live in the city anymore. I'm not working for old ladies unless their husbands are anymore. And then you sit around with all your workers at a table, and this is exactly what happened to me. I'm sitting around, I'm saying all this, and I go the next week, and I say, you know what? I'm not working for rich, powerful people anymore or lawyers. And my friend Tim looks at me and he goes, click. And I go, what? And he goes, there's no one left to work for. So that's the story, mister. That's my little spiel.
Like it.
Okay, good, man. Thank you.
Is your hillside home about to let you down?
Better fix it before it's in my yard.